Hey guys, Luis Moreno here, Simply Health Insurance Agency, powered by 360 Insurance Group. And I'm here with Jeremy from Senior Market Advisors, and he is our Sunfire expert. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Luis. How are you?
Man, I am super glad to be here. It's a beautiful Monday, and we're getting so close to AEP. And man, I want to go into the latest features that Sunfire has. And guys, before we even get into that, I want to kind of just break it down generalities here because I do get a lot of questions about the Sunfire tool. I get questions about a CRM. I get questions about Health Sherpa. Which of these do I use? Sunfire, guys, is a quote and enrollment tool strictly for Medicare. Okay. Health Sherpa is the same tool, but it's for ACA, Obamacare, under 65. Okay. They're completely unrelated. They do the same thing, but they're unrelated. Now, there is a CRM that I recommend that a lot of agents get. Okay. It's Agent CRM, guys, but that tool is a communication tool. It doesn't quote anything. It's not an enrollment platform. It is a tool that will help you stay in touch with your clients. It'll help you stay in touch with your leads. It's a communication tool. It's a lot of different, it does a lot of different things, but it's not Sunfire, which is the Medicare quote and enrollment platform. So with that, now that you guys know what Sunfire is, Jeremy, man, give us the latest and greatest on Sunfire.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you, Luis, for that introduction. So with Sunfire, obviously it's a quoting and enrollment tool. We're going to help keep you inside the guardrails for some compliance pieces. We also want to help you out with some Medicare search functions. And we also, as of the first of this month, have capabilities to quote supplements as well. So first, we'll start with some CMS, some compliance work. So if you use Sunfire as it's intended to use, it also has a function to dial compliantly on a recorded line. So once you set up your dialer, you can start your dialer phone. It's going to show me that I'm available. I can now make a phone call. So I'm just going to call my cell phone as an example. So when I call my cell phone, it's going to start ringing to me, and then it's going to ask me to put in a zip code.
Oh, I love that disclosure right there. It does all the work for you.
Yep. So the cool thing about this Sunfire update is it's going to pull directly from your RTS reports. So if you have 6 carriers in a certain area, 4 carriers in a certain area, you don't have to remember all those things. Just know in the first 60 seconds of the call, you have to let the client know, okay, great. We are on a recorded line for compliance. And also just wanted to let you know, I represent 6 out of 76 plans in your area. If you have any questions about any or all of the plans, reach out to medicare.gov, 1-800-Medicare, or your state health insurance program or SHIP to get more information. So this will pop up anytime you plug in a zip code, which is great. So that's update number 1. You can end call recording at any time.
Hey, Jeremy, I just want to, we get new agents that listen to us. Guys, you
Yep.
got to be aware. These are new CMS guidelines for marketing. Okay, and what this means, guys, is that now if you're having a telesales appointment, you have to record your call. If you're face-to-face, you do not. But if it's a telesales appointment, you are going to have to record it. And that disclaimer that you saw right there has to be stated in the first minute of the call. Otherwise, you're not doing this compliantly. So it does the work for you. That's the beauty. You also mentioned RTS. Some newer agents may not know what that is. Jeremy, what's RTS?
Yeah, so RTS, essentially that's the law of the land in Medicare insurance. You have to be ready to sell a certain carrier in a certain state. If you say, well, what am I ready to sell with? You can go down to your agent profile, which is the gear at the bottom left of the screen, and you could generate yourself a ready to sell report. I'm a licensed agent as well, so I can be able to see, okay, here's all the carriers And then here are all the states that I'm ready to sell with. That means when I'm using Sunfire, I can not only quote these plans that say yes, but I can enroll those plans that say yes as well.
Beautiful. And guys, if you're wondering, Jeremy, how do I set up my phone number? Guys, we're not going to get into it here. We're just highlighting some of the latest and greatest features, but there's other videos that I have posted that will get into the settings on what you need to do to have that phone number ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So as soon as you are dialer ready, it's there in your agent settings as well. You can go available. As soon as you plug in that phone number, it's going to ask what zip are you calling to. Once you put in that zip code, that disclosure pops up and you're off to the races.
Beautiful. And guys, check down below in the description. I'm going to have the 7 Sunfire videos that we did that go over every feature that Sunfire has. So if you want to learn about the setup and the dialer, just click down below in the more, and we'll have that information for you.
Perfect. Yep. So number 2 on the list. So obviously number 1's getting them on that recorded line if you're doing some telesales work. Step 2, when we start looking at plans and start quoting plans, there's a cool new feature that's going to allow you to look up someone's Medicare information, as well as if they have LIS as well. So the first thing you do when you click on the quoting function, which is the bullet points, I already have a zip code pulled up, so it's going to cheat ahead if you already have information in, but you can go to customer profile. And then you can go to zip code if you want, but we want to make sure we can do customer lookup. So there's just a brief disclosure that you just read to the client, say at any point in the call, you can just say, hey, we can start to, look at your zip code. If you have your Medicare number and date of birth, I'll be able to use that information to look up your correct situation and get any medication information to provide the best recommendations. So once you click that disclosure, it'll ungray some boxes. All you need to put in is zip code, Medicare number, as well as date of birth. Once those 3 key points of information is in, then you will be able to look up, number 1, what their current plan is, and then 2, if they have any sort of LIS. It's not going to tell you Medicaid, but it's at least going to let you know, okay, what's their current plan? And then step 2, what is their LIS level. So I won't put in anyone's Medicare number here, but here's what that brief lookup will look like. You'll get an extra box that pops up that says, hey, here's your client, John Doe. Here's your Part A, Part B effective dates. Here's what the current plan that this client is in. And then if they have LIS, it's going to pop that up in the box as well, saying, hey, they have LIS, here's the level, and then you're good to go. At that point, you can then start talking, okay, let's compare, to your current plan. And then I know you have LIS, yes or no, so we can have a more intelligent conversation about those prescription drugs. So it's honestly a quick update, but it's an important update. It helps you get in the fight and kind of know what client you're talking to and needing to kind of pitch towards with just 3 key pieces of information.
And it's also important, guys, I'm going to tell you, you saw the effective dates of A and B. There are some seniors out there that don't have Part B. And so why go through all the trouble of doing a complete enrollment when they're missing, or when you might not know at the very beginning that they don't have Part B. It kind of also, it's got some good information there on that A and B. You got to know that. Can't assume they have it.
Exactly. Yep. Always check. The tools are here to help you. The more information that you have, the smoother that presentation and enrollment is going to go. So that's update number 2. Talking about that customer lookup. We're honestly going in a flow here. If you click on zip code here, I'm just going to pull up my zip code here in Nashville. Now we have some plan options. Previously, you could do MAPD, prescription drug plans, MA, special needs D-SNPs. But look here in the middle, we now have the functionality to quote a med sup. So if you click on med sup, you're now going to have some more information that pops up. So now you can start keying in some information. Notice that you had a little personal code that popped up. As soon as we start filling in this information and we click yes, it's going to pop you up a quick digit code for you to put here. That's going to help you search this client and what your quote is at any point. So You don't need to jot down all the information. You can go back in Sunfire and look at any point. So for this example, let's just say, hey, we probably won't start it for 10-1. Let's just say, hey, they want to start the first of the year. That's perfectly fine. It's going to ask their gender, date of birth. Let's just put in some basic information here. It's going to assume their Part A, Part B date, just backing it up based on when they turn 65. The assumption's not always correct. So if they have a different A and B than what is auto assumed, let's always ask, what's your Part A, what's your Part B? If they're guaranteed issue, that could be if there's a special SEP for that carrier for that month or that quarter. And then most importantly, if it's their initial enrollment period, would be guaranteed issue. We also have the option to look at the prescription tobacco products. This is going to change the premium slightly. So if they take tobacco, yes or no. And then we could start viewing all plans. There's that personal code that I mentioned. We've already keyed in this guy. And now all of what we've put in on the previous slide is here good to go. So it pulled over his date of birth, how old he is, if he's tobacco, yes or no. We don't have a discount just yet. We know a lot of carriers offer a household discount. If there's anyone in the home that's over the age of 18, they usually qualify for a household discount. So you can click that household discount, and then it's going to drop some premium. So let's check that out again. I unclicked it. This Mutual of Omaha was at $50. We've clicked the household discount, and now it's brought it down $6. So double, triple check when you are looking at your presentation that you make sure that you're clicking the guaranteed issue, you're clicking the household discount. And then at this point, you can go in and filter by anything you would like, or by any company you would like, or if there's a premium target they're looking to stay under. So we could say, hey, they're on a plan F, it's getting expensive. Let's look at a plan G. Then you can click, okay, we want to look at only plan Gs. So now it brought us down to 10 results that we're ready to sell with. And then at this point, we can say, okay, cool. We are ready to go. Let's just say they're currently on a Humana plan, spending $140, $150 a month. Cool. Cigna is going to save them $20 a month, save them $250 a year. It includes that 20% household discount because we had clicked that box if there's anyone in the house over 18. And then we could just click enroll, and it's going to bump them directly to the Cigna for Brokers site to enroll that policy. So we don't have it specifically in Sunfire yet for underwriting questions, but you will be able to see, okay, I am ready to sell with this carrier. Now, as soon as I click enroll, it's going to bump you to that carrier site, and then you can enroll per your normal process. But this is a great tool for you to be able to search instead of having to log into Lean, log into Humana, log into Cigna for Brokers, shop it all in one spot, get that quote, and then pop that enroll button, and then hop over to that carrier site. And that's essentially it. It's a pretty quick lookup. The back end questions, underwriting, all of that stuff, that's going to be the normal process. But this front end of how you start comparing and narrowing down options, Sunfire has your back.
Yeah, I'm playing with it right now, and this is really cool. I'm glad we have that feature.
Wonderful. And that's really it for the 3 big updates. Something that's in the works now. If you go back to your dashboard, you can see some reporting options here. It'll just show what's enrolled currently at this time. We are working on a feature that's going to have some more analytics for you. It's going to be able to tell you what plans you're closing the most of. It's going to tell you a little bit more info on what your enrollment history looks like. So be on the lookout for that. In the time being, you'll be able to see all that you have enrolled, but there'll be more analytics at play just so you can better decipher, okay, what am I writing? How much am I writing? Really kind of use data to drive kind of your decisions. So that's kind of next in the hopper. As soon as we, get more information or a release date, we'll put together a video and get some slides for you there.
Beautiful. And then let's not forget, because agents always ask, let's do a little 1 minute, 2 minute quickie on the scope. I know we have a new feature that we have on Sunfire. Can you kind of go over that real quickly, Jeremy?
100%. Yeah. So let's make an outbound phone call here again. Because if you are on this outbound recorded phone call in Sunfire, you can still do text or email scope if you want, but that opens you up to do a voice scope as well. So let me make a phone call to myself again.
So again, guys, you can capture the scope normally by email, text. You can upload a scope, and you can do a signature on your device, on your pad or whatever device you have. And then this is the fifth way to do it.
Yep, exactly. So I just called out. I'm on the recorded line. Here's that disclosure. So we'll read that. Hello, this call's being recorded. We can close that out. Don't click end call. We can just close out the disclosure. We want to make sure that we're looking at a contact correctly here. So we need to make sure that we're adding a contact before we do a scope of appointment. For this example, you can add someone in if you want to add a new contact, if it's a person you're just speaking with, or we can search a person's information. Let's just say Brad Pitt is one of our guys. We can go down to these ellipses here, and then we can start the scope of appointment. We always want to make sure we do a scope of appointment with a contact clicked. If we do not, it's not going to tie that scope of appointment to anyone. So for this example, we already have a signed scope. I ran through this example earlier, but now in addition to uploading a scope, which is if you do paper, you can just click upload and it's going to just say choose a file. You can do text or email, but now we have them on the phone, so we can do a voice scope. Let's just assume we haven't signed a scope before. So when we click voice scope, now it's going to be CMS compliant top to bottom, but instead of, okay, you send a text or send an email, you can do it all through voice. So everything you see, you need to read. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services requires agents to document scope of marketing appointment. And then you can go down the line. We may discuss several types of plan options with you today. XYZ, XYZ. I need to verify some additional information and read some required disclosures. Please say yes if I have your permission to discuss such plans on today's date, 9/25/2023. Yes. And then please be aware you're not required to provide any health-related information if you don't feel comfortable. If you choose not to provide any information, it's not going to hinder your enrollment or what you qualify for. No obligation to enroll. And then we can go down the line. We clicked on his contact, so now all of his information is auto-populated over. We can say, okay, what's our initial method of contact? We can say, okay, this is great. Brad Pitt was a referral. And then we can go down the line and say, okay, this is the correct date for the 25th. Plans the agent will represent. I'm a broker, so unless they mention something specific, I'm going to say I'm a broker. I represent all plans. And then at the bottom, all you just have to say is, do you make your own healthcare decisions? That's great. Yes. If they click no, it'll pop up and say, okay, let's verify some beneficiary or power of attorney information as well. So let's just say, yes, they make their own decisions. We can save it. And now it's going to say, great, scope of appointment for Brad Pitt. It's good to go. And now it is in our inbox. It just auto-populates. So we did it in person. Now we're doing a voice. We can just scroll over and we have to click this sign button. And that's going to refresh. It's going to say we're signed, and then we're good to go. We can say that's fantastic. Let's go forward and start looking up that Medicare lookup, see what your LIS or your current plan is. Then let's start quoting some policies.
Beautiful. Jeremy, one question that I've gotten this before. Can you pull up that scope?
Sure.
When agents are reading that information, so they read this and they're going top down, can you go a little bit lower, right below where you signed? Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. Right here, this section, standalone. Do agents have to read this to the seniors, all this down here, or is it, hey, just the top part and you're done?
So it would all depend on what topics you're going to discuss. So if there's specifics like, okay, I want to discuss a PDP, or I want to discuss, I'm a veteran, so I only want to talk about an MA only plan. So if they've given you some basic information, of, okay, this is specific, I would just cover it. I would say, okay, great. You talked about wanting to hear about some standalone PDP plans, just to let you know those plans are in place to add drug coverage to your existing Medicare. Some Medicare cost plans, some Medicare private fee for service plans, Medicare, health savings account plans. We'll cover all of those in our discussion. I would just, briefly overview what the product is you're going to discuss. You don't necessarily have to do it in the scope. It's more than likely just going to organically pop up during the phone call.
Beautiful. Okay, great. Got it.
And
so
then,
you've got options, guys. So you got 5 ways to collect that scope. If you're doing a telesales and it's difficult for your senior to sign electronically, to sign via text, then remember that you do have the voice SOA compliantly way for you to capture that SOA and proceed to doing your job and start doing some research for these seniors. That's awesome, man. God, great features with Sunfire. It got so much better.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're working on things every day. So, as soon as we get new updates or, a new tool or a new way to, help your clients better, we'll absolutely stay in touch.
Great. There you go, guys. If you want some more information, if you want to dive down more into Sunfire, down below in the more section, click it, and I'm going to put links to videos 1 through 7 where we dive in depth into each of the features. And I do believe, Jeremy, I can't remember, I'm just coming back from vacation, but we actually did a mock enrollment, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. So we went through the enrollment process as well. So there should be a video on that as well.
Perfect. So, guys, again, go down below and get some information on these on the ins and outs of Sunfire. Jeremy, thank you so much, man, for giving us the highlights here for Sunfire. And guys, if you have any questions, any comments, put them down below. I will respond to them personally. And again, Jeremy, thank you, man. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Luis. We'll chat soon.
Yeah.